Vanity Fair loves this movie. We love this movie.
That's
we are giving it.
So good to hear. I'm so excited to be finally promoting this film because I've been wanting everyone to see it so
it's
badly.
So great.
It's so nice to be here and to start hearing people be like, "Oh, I saw it."
I think it's everyone. It's just such a great movie on so many different levels, and for you, obviously, it's kind of a coming of age film. It's for everybody. In the movie. I love that it was set in 1991.
Yes. Well, it's kind of interesting. I was talking about this the other day, but it's almost that because it's set sort of late 80s, early 90s, there's enough there that young people can relate to, but there's also like a degree of separation. There's almost a kind of exoticness about it because there's sort of like music that sounds kind of familiar, but they haven't quite heard, and like, you know, a different sense of style and just a slightly different feel, which people are really getting into. And as you said, it's so amazing that the audience for this movie seems to be so broad. It's not just a young person's movie. Like, one of the biggest advocates of this movie is like my dad and like David Letterman and like people you really wouldn't expect having these super nostalgic moments with it.
So for you, Sam, your character, obviously American accent is great.
Thank you. Oh,
great.
God, I lost so much sleep over that accent. You have no idea. I felt so sorry for Steve. He was getting like emails weekly. And I was like, you need to tell me about this slang. Like, where did this word come from? And do you think this sounds okay? And I watch movies, and if an actor makes a mistake with an accent, even for a second, it totally brings you out of the film. And so I knew I had to nail it. So I was,
Yeah, no, good job. What do you hope people take away from this film?
I hope they enjoy the experience. I hope they laugh. I hope they cry. I hope it's cathartic. That was definitely how I felt the first time I even watched it, and I had made it, and it really felt like kind of so affirmative and life affirming and kind of awesome. And I hope that some of the messages of the movie really sink in.
What made you want to take on Sam? What was it for you that drew you to the script and
She was just such like a meaty, three-dimensional character. So often, like, female characters can kind of like fall into a category or fall into a box of like, oh, she's that girl. And Sam is really interesting because on the outside, she's this kind of like wild, spontaneous, daredevil, party girl kind of character, and she seems incredibly confident and outgoing, but she's really using that as a way to mask her own deep vulnerability and this kind of like very troubled past and this kind of like conflict that's going on within her. So I found that really interesting, and she also just has such a journey in the movie. I love that she goes from a place where she thinks she's totally in love with this complete douche called Craig, who is
that's
just
called high school, by the way.
The worst guy ever. I mean, just painfully, embarrassingly awful, to realizing, oh wait, like I have a choice in this. Like maybe I do deserve someone good like Charlie, who loves me the way I am and who's gonna be there for me, and maybe I do deserve that, and maybe I do have a choice. And it was so meaningful to me to find a character where she finds a way to love and accept herself by the end, and then find true love. So all of that really was just like a huge draw. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this movie just takes the cap off the bottle and is like.
That's great. Well, congratulations.